More than half of infants in Texas who fail their newborn hearing screening do not return for early intervention, one of the worst rates in the nation, according to the CDC. In fact, only 19% of babies in Texas actually meet the 136 guidelines.
The Early Hearing Detection and Intervention Program national guidelines are 136. And what that means is by 1 month of age, a child would have been screened for hearing loss. By 3 months of age, the child would have been diagnosed with hearing loss. And by 6 months of age, early intervention services would have begun, which means fitting with a hearing device and starting speech and language services.
One of the barriers of us completing our early intervention goals in an efficient manner is the fact that it takes a customized ear mold to fit a hearing aid on a baby. And that customized ear mold can take anywhere from 2 weeks if we're lucky to 4 to 6 weeks. Our idea here at Callier is to bring that technology in-house and be able to 3D print that process and complete an ear mold within 24 hours. So this process could revolutionize how quickly we can provide intervention in the very young under 5 population. We're going to be one of the first clinics in the nation to do it, and then our goal is to implement this process in clinics nationwide.
The Callier Center aims to be the model in Texas and across the nation for the early detection of hearing loss and intervention by 3 months of age.
I'm Russell Burgess.
I'm Courtney Burgess.
And we have 3 children. Callan is 4 years old, Harrison is 2 years old, and Connor is 3 months. Harrison failed his newborn screening, and he was diagnosed with bilateral sensorineural hearing loss. I think when we found out that Harrison had hearing loss, we were both blindsided, and I think at that time we were just searching for answers and trying to figure out what's the next step here.
So once we got to the Callier Center, Harrison received hearing evaluations, some hearing screens with our audiologist, Dr. Williams. After that, he was fitted at about 7 months for his hearing aids. In addition to the audiologist visits, we were also seeing speech therapist, Amber.
I began seeing Harrison for auditory verbal therapy in January 2021. He was able to tell when sound was happening, but it was not meaningful to him. He didn't recognize his name, he didn't recognize early words. In my first therapy sessions with Harrison, we worked on paying attention to sounds. And then over 2021, he progressed from sounds to words to combinations of words. We've even heard a sentence of about 5 words, which is radical for a 2-year-old. Now his vocabulary is above his age level, and he no longer has a language disorder diagnosis.
Harrison is doing really, really well. He has actually exceeded our expectations and is on most measures at this point for auditory development. He is ahead of the curve for that.
Harrison's progress since he's been at Callier has been phenomenal. Not only has his speech improved, but you can tell that his confidence is gaining, which that was something that initially I thought would be a challenge.
When Courtney came in the summer for Harrison's regular appointment, we were talking about how she was expecting a new baby. And so we discussed at that appointment the importance of diagnostic testing for new babies born into families who already have a sibling who has hearing loss. Courtney emailed me a few days after he was born to let me know that he had failed his newborn hearing screening. So we actually did his initial diagnosis 11 days after he was born. By the time he came back, it was around the end of December. He was about 7 weeks old at that time, and we were able to fit his hearing aids with his new ear molds. He seems to be very in tune when you're talking to him. He'll look at you, make good eye contact. He really loves it when his siblings kind of get up and talk to him and be silly with him. We get really excited when we hear that babies are interacting with the sounds in their environment because it means that they're getting some benefit from their hearing aid.
One of the first things we noticed when we came to the Callier Center, and then as we sort of progressed through the speech therapy and the sessions with Dr. Williams and Amber, was really the fact that we were treated like family, and that they were emotionally invested in our success, in the success of our children. And that's something that you just can't replicate.
It's very, very sweet to get to walk alongside them and be there with first words, some first phrases, to see Courtney and Russell celebrate their progress.
Early hearing intervention is important because communication is such a critical social skill in life. The ability to listen, to be understood, to understand. So the earlier that you can foster that skill, the easier the development will be for your child. And I think we've seen that in our boys.